there tends to be a lot of anxiety and breastfeeding about the state of literature and literacy, and it's serious. I think we're in a serious situation. But what always impresses me about freshmen is how, that they're true believers. They want to believe that great literature is great and that will do something for them. I mean, in my experience, and I take that very seriously.
I mean, here we are up on stage, having a chat that could easily have be parodied by Monty Python. Do you know what I mean? Why is this any different from 40 years ago? The pipe would have the pipe, and so on. I defer to you, and you defer to me, and then you defer to him, and he defers to me.
We'd all be smoking. The internet is I've said this a million times, the internet is like a printing press. It is neither good nor bad. It distributes, thanks Mom, it just distributes, my mother's here, it just distributes texts, and what's interesting about that, is that anybody can say anything about anything and have it be published. And that used to not be the case.
And do you feel that's expanding literature, diminishing, or just making it more interesting?
I would say C. I would say, because it is the most powerful medium for distribution of ideas in the history of the planet. It doesn't seem there's any sense of responsibility in that world. It's just people saying what they think. And I don't think that's what we do, actually. I don't know what you think.
What do you think, James? Do you read blogs?
I do read blogs, and I actually think some of the literary blogs are better than that. And are are posting essays and so on that are not uninteresting. The problem is, as you suggest, comes in the awful thing of the comment. You read these pieces now, and you've got the little blue thing at the top, and you think, why is the blue thing only halfway down? Is this a 100,000 word piece? And you think, no. It's a 2,000 word piece, but there are 450 stupid comments at the bottom of it.
I think there's such a thing as expertise. As I say at the beginning of my book, the word critic comes from the word to judge, and you cannot judge a thing if you don't know anything. And I quite often think that people who open literary blogs, great, you have an opinion about Herman Melville. Gega's into hay, but it's like me opening a blog on brain surgery. And you know what? There's nothing to prevent me from doing that. And people may, for all I know, read my blog and go do an operation and kill somebody. And I think that's the difference for me, is that I don't think what we are engaged in is airing our opinions. Whatever we are, and we have very different backgrounds, very different attitudes about things, but that you are trained, and this is something that I think we actually both do in a different way, but what we are interested in is sort of explaining to people how you pay attention to a text. That it's not just, it made me feel good, or it reminded me of my boyfriend in high school, or whatever. That's not what it's about. And that what seems to me problematic, let's say, because I'm generous, about this other thing is that it just seems incredible to me that you could just say anything about anything, because that's how you feel about it. That is what I worry about, and I see this in my students, the kind of anxiety about being disconnected from the static and just being alone with the text, which is, of course, why people of our generation say that was why you liked it. You wanted to go in your room and be together with the novel. And that, I think, is a cause for concern, as optimistic as I often try to be. I think that the ability to be private is something that you see disappearing. All you have to do is, as I do very often, ride New Jersey Transit. And you see people you never see people reading anymore. Everyone's on a phone, watching a movie, being connected, doing their emails, and I do this too, so it's not like I'm some high and mighty person, And that, I think, is interesting because, you know, a form of public transportation in New York City used to be an object filled with people reading books and newspapers and magazines, and now they're all connected. And that, I think, is changing how people read. That, I think, is a material difference in culture, you know.
I get on a plane next week, a Singapore Airlines plane, and as I get into my economy seat, there are 100 movies, including Kurosawa, Ozu, Fellini, Godard, you name it, art house movies. And I realize that even I, whose livelihood depends on writing, is going to find it very difficult to pick up a book in the face of such temptations, and more so were I 25 years younger than I am. On my way over here, as I wanted to think about the future of literature, there in the screen of the taxi, there in the back of the taxi, is a screen generating people.com's 5 top celebrities, as well as the Zagat Guide and ESPN. And so I suppose I just feel the pressure of temptation and realize the way in which even I cannot resist many of those temptations.